Hi, my name is Ray, and welcome to Quiz Class. I'll be your host for this 1960s quiz. Let's begin. The chocolate fondue was created in the 1960s to promote which chocolate brand? Was it Hershey's, Toblerone, or Almond Joy? It was Toblerone. In 1963, Martin Luther King Jr. delivered a speech that will be forever remembered in American history. What was it known as? I Have a Dream, Luckiest Man, or We Shall Fight on the Beaches. It was known as I Have a Dream. In 1964, Cassius Clay Jr. became the heavyweight champion of the world after defeating Sonny Liston. Later on, what did Clay change his name to? Dick Tiger, Muhammad Ali, or Floyd Patterson? He changed it to Muhammad Ali. What famous landmark was built in the 60s in St. Louis, Missouri as a monument to the westward expansion of the U.S.? Chain of Rocks Bridge, Union Station, or Gateway Arch? It was the Gateway Arch. What groundbreaking educational children's TV show, which premiered in 1969, combined live action, puppetry, and animation? If you answered Sesame Street, you are correct. What did East Germany build in 1961 to prevent Western fascists from entering and undermining their state? They built the Berlin Wall. What toaster pastry brand name was inspired by Andy Warhol's pop art movement? Was it Pop-Tarts, Toast 'em Pop-Ups, or Toaster Strudels? It was Pop-Tarts. Who said the famous quote, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind"? Was that Neil Armstrong, Nelson Mandela, or Maya Angelou? That was Neil Armstrong. Who was the first person in space? Was it Yuri Gagarin, Alan Shepard, or Neil Armstrong? If you answer Yuri Gagarin, you are correct. Invented by Jim Delaghetti to compete with Eat Park's Big Boy Sandwich, what iconic fast food burger with 3 buns and 2 beef patties appeared in 1967? The Big Mac, the Whopper, or the Baconator? It was the Big Mac. In 1961, who beat Babe Ruth's record of 60 home runs in one season? Was it Orlando Cepeda, Roger Maris, or Tony Olivia? It was Roger Maris. Which culinary icon became a hit in the 60s and even won her own TV show, The French Chef? Was that Julia Child, Joyce Chen, or Martha Stewart? It was Julia Child. What 1960s American animated sitcom is set in a comical version of the Stone Age? If you answered the Flintstones, you are correct. What is the American spaceflight that brought the first men, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin, to the moon? The correct answer is Apollo 11. Who assassinated John F. Kennedy, the 35th President of the United States in 1963? Was that James Earl Ray, Lee Harvey Oswald, or Gavrilo Princip? It was Lee Harvey Oswald. Which of the following actresses is one of the first 8 to receive a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame? Was that Joanne Woodward, Lucille Ball, or Evelyn Brent? It was Joanne Woodward. Considered a masterpiece by many critics, what famous sci-fi film by Stanley Kubrick debuted in 1968? 2001: A Space Odyssey, Solaris, or The Day the Earth Stood Still? It was the 2001 Space Odyssey. What highly successful novel about rape and racial inequality won the Pulitzer Prize in 1961, a year after its release? Was that To Kill a Mockingbird, The Keepers of the House, or The Edge of Sadness? It was To Kill a Mockingbird. Which 60s visual artist was dubbed the Pope of Pop for his penchant for popular subjects? Was that Roy Lichtenstein, Peter Blake, or Andy Warhol? It was Andy Warhol. What international non-governmental organization was created in 1961 to preserve the wilderness? If you answered WWF or the World Wildlife Fund, you are correct. Which legendary actress was known for her striking natural purple eyes? The correct answer is Elizabeth Taylor. Which actor won the 1969 Best Actor Oscar for his role in the movie True Grit? Was it Henry Fonda, Burt Lancaster, or John Wayne? It was John Wayne. Who was the first Black actor to win an Academy Award for Best Actor? Was that Paul Winfield, James Earl Jones, or Sidney Poitier? It was Sidney Poitier. Which singer was featured on the cover of the first Rolling Stone magazine? Was that Tina Turner, John Lennon, or Jim Morrison? John Lennon was on the cover of the first Rolling Stone magazine. Who won the first ever Super Bowl, which was played on January 15, 1967? The Kansas City Chiefs, Green Bay Packers, or Oakland Raiders? It was the Green Bay Packers. Established in 1969, what was the first workable prototype of the internet? Was it Usenet, Merit Network, or ARPANET? The correct answer is ARPANET. Which U.S. president signed the Civil Rights Act of 1964 into law, which prohibits discrimination in terms of race, color, religion, sex, or national origin? John F. Kennedy, Richard Nixon, or Lyndon B. Johnson? It was signed by Lyndon B. Johnson. Who was the best-selling artist of the 60s? Was that Elvis Presley, the Beatles, or the Rolling Stones? If you answered the Beatles, you are correct. What does the 60s slang think mean? Useless person, tattletale, or bald guy? It means tattletale. What musical drama film about the Von Trapp family singers was released in 1965? The Trapp Family Story, or Sound of Music? It was The Sound of Music. Who is credited for inventing the first computer mouse? Is that Douglas Engelbart, Ralph Benjamin, or Kenyon Taylor? The correct answer is Douglas Engelbart. What is the youth-driven cultural revolution that took the UK by storm during the 60s that centered on modernity and hedonism? Poppin' 60s, swingin' 60s, or beggin' 60s? It's the swingin' 60s. What popular icon was commercial artist Harvey Ball hired to create in 1963 to boost the morale of an insurance company's employees? The peace symbol, peace and love, or the smiley face? It was the smiley face. What synthetic fiber that is used for bulletproof vests and helmets did Stephanie Kolwick invent in 1965? Spandex, Dynama, or Kevlar? It's Kevlar. Introduced in 1966, what's the name of the doll that was marketed by Mattel as Barbie's modern cousin? Francine Fairchild, Midge Sherwood, or Summer Gordon? That doll was Francine Fairchild. What kind of gemstone did Theodore Maiman's invention, the first working laser, use? Was it a ruby, a diamond, or garnet? The gemstone was a ruby. What was the most popular given name for girls born during the 60s? Was that Mary, Susan, or Lisa? If you answered Lisa, you are correct. In 1965, who became the first person to leave a space vehicle and spacewalk? Was it Alexei Leonov, Yuri Gagarin, or Boris Yegorov? It was Alexei Leonov. What fashion trend is British designer Mary Quant known for popularizing? The bikini, the miniskirt, or leopard print? She's known for the miniskirt. The character paparazzo is the eponym of the word paparazzi. What 1960 film is he from? Spartacus, Psycho, or La Dolce Vita? It's La Dolce Vita. Which comic book superhero debuted in 1963 in Tales of Suspense number 39? Was that Iron Man, Spider-Man, or the Hulk? It's Iron Man. Made in 1962 by Steve Russell, what was the first widely available computer video game? Was it Space War, Computer Kiss, or Hammurabi? It was Space War. According to the American Kennel Club, what was the top dog breed in the 60s? Was it poodles, German shepherds, or beagles? It was poodles. What kid-friendly canned pasta was first introduced by Campbell's 1965, marketed as the spaghetti you can eat with a spoon? Was it spaghetti hoops, spaghettios, or spaghetti rings? It was spaghettios. What type of Japanese cuisine, wherein food is grilled on a flat iron plate in front of customers, was introduced in New York in 1964 by Benihana? Takoyaki, teppanyaki, or okonomiyaki? It was teppanyaki. What was the name of the mascot used by the USPS to encourage people to use zip codes in all their mail? Postman Zip, Friendly Zip, or Mr. Zip? It was Mr. Zip. Which animal's extermination in China's Four Pests campaign caused locust populations to boom, contributing to the Great Chinese Famine? Was it wasps, snakes, or sparrows? It was sparrows. Who hit the game-winning home run in the 1960 World Series between the Pittsburgh Pirates and New York Yankees? Bobby Richardson, Bill Mazeroski, or Mickey Mantle? It was Bill Mazeroski. What was the original name of Tom and James Monaghan's pizza restaurant before it was renamed Domino's in 1965? Don Mino's, Dominick's, or Dominican? It's Dominick's. With a rating of 9.5 on the moment magnitude scale, what is the most powerful earthquake ever recorded? 1960 Valdivia, 1964 Alaska, or 1965 Rat Island? It was the 1960 Valdivia earthquake. Who portrayed 007 in the 1962 James Bond film Dr. No? Let us know the answer in the comments. Thanks for playing this quiz. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button.